Alright, what's up friends? Finally, it's happened. The release date has been announced. So, a release date announcement. What started out as a small DLC has become a sizable expansion again. We're happy to announce that the Warriors of the North DLC for Battle Brothers will be released on May 9th. For the price of $8.99 or your local equivalent. You can already find and wishlist it on Steam right here. The artwork above can also be downloaded as a wallpaper. That'll be the background for a couple of my forthcoming seasons for sure. The Warriors of the North DLC for Battle Brothers expands the game with a more distinct northern region, as well as different starting scenarios to pick for your mercenary company. Face an entirely new faction of barbarians in battle, wear new Viking and Rust-themed gear, and follow the legend of the Lirok, a mythical creature of the frozen north. So there's the origins. Pick one of 10 different origins and play as northern barbarians, peasant militia, or a flock of cultists. It's peasant militia and flock of cultists I think I want to start with. Each origin has special rules that shape your campaign into a different experience from beginning to end. New opponents. Face an entirely new faction of northern barbarians, complete with their own gear and unique mechanics. Legendary locations. Visit 2 new legendary locations and fight 2 new bosses in a quest that leads to a legendary reward. Champions. Hunt down enemy champions and face them in battle to claim famed items for yourself. New banners and gear. Dress in style with a collection of new Viking and Rust-inspired banners, shields, helmets and armors. Use new weapons and let loose the new Nordic Warhound. New contracts and events. Earn your stay in the north by taking on new contracts. Immerse yourselves in leading a mercenary company with even more illustrated events. New music. 2 new music tracks accompany you on your adventures. You just heard one of them. And new achievements. Challenge yourself with new achievements. Okay, so you'll be able to continue your current campaign, but won't have access to all new combat until you start a new campaign. Okay, awesome. So, May 9th, finally. That's like 3 weeks away. Fuck, I can't wait. God, it's going to be so good. The main thing I'm looking forward to is the champions. It's going to give us access to legendary items a little bit earlier. That being said, though, not really much to go over in this announcement. It's just the date that we're really interested in. Last week's dev blog, we didn't cover those. So let's quickly go over the last week's. I wonder how you pronounce this. The Ijirok? I think it's Lirok. I imagine they would be... I don't know. Anyway, so aside from new contracts and events, the upcoming Warriors of the North DLC will also introduce 2 new legendary locations linked in a single quest, leading up to a legendary reward. Today we'll look at one of the 2 bosses that you'll have to face along the way. If you don't like to be spoiled about any of that, you may want to skip this dev blog. All others, let's go. The Lirok. The Lirok is a mythical creature of the north, folklore of the barbarian folk. It's called the Beast of Winter, for it is said that it first carried the cold into this world on its back. Legend claims the creature to be a shapeshifter and deceiver, appearing in many forms. It abducts children solely to enjoy the pain of the parents. It leads men astray in the white wastes just to watch them go in circles and freeze to death. Some regard it a spirit, some a god, and others a force of nature, like the sun or wind, but with found divinity within the aspects of a cruel creature. Whatever its true nature, in the north they can all feel the presence of the Lirok, and they count themselves fortunate that the horrors it brings are scant and passing. When your mercenary company finally faces the Lirok in battle, it will appear as a great horned beast with 4 legs and hooves. It's a boss fight, and it will challenge you like fighting the Kraken or the Reichgeist does. Leading up to the battle, you'll have the opportunity to learn more about the true nature of your opponent by reading events and visiting locations in the game. The Lirok charges you from afar to gore and trample anything in its path. Unlike the charge of other opponents in the game, the great horned beast charging you will inflict damage, but you can defend against it with melee defense like against any other melee attack. Even if your shields prove sturdy and your men are not impaled outright, however, the force of impact may still throw them back and stagger them. Then, at the beginning of each turn, the Lirok will shift into a different world, one where cold and ice reign supreme, only to emerge at a different place and charge you anew. While the great beast enters into and emerges from this other world, cold seeps into ours, turning the ground frozen and changing the battlefield permanently. Anyone near the Lirok will get the new chilled status effect, which will freeze your men's limbs stiff and lowers their initiative and action points for 1 round. The Lirok is as elusive in combat as it is outside of it, but each round you'll have the chance to wail on it before it charges you from a different angle. Like with fighting necrosavants, your formation is key in defeating the beast of winter, while the world around you slowly turns into a frozen hell. Holy shit. This looks friggin' intense. So, a couple of things are going to determine how bad this fight will be. First of all, whether you only fight it alone or whether it has other things with it, or multiples of these things could be a goddamn nightmare. It's pretty clear that in this sort of setup, your archers are going to be worthless because it'll just go for your archers at the back line. Although, potentially, if you want to risk it, you could assume that the AI will preferentially target your ranged fighters and maybe use that against it. The thing that jumps out at me here is this sentence here. Then, at the beginning of each turn, the Lerock will shift into a different world. So does that implies to me that it has adrenaline, basically as a passive. So it's always going to get to attack first every turn. It's going to be very difficult to deal with. The other thing is the chill. It's a status effect. So I forget what's that perk called? Shake it off or something like that. Where all status effects only affect you for one turn. But I'm assuming that this chill status effect is going to last for more than one turn. I hope it only lasts for one, because if it's for more than one, this thing can very quickly chill your entire team, and that's going to suck. Anyway, I do think that if you are intelligent and you take it on at the right time, much like any of the other enemies, it shouldn't be that bad. But this is the kind of enemy I would fight expecting to lose at least a couple of brothers. Here's an interesting comment by one of the Steam guys. Would love to get 3 ranks in the setup. I mean, how hard can it be to shift the inventory display a little and drop a line of code to just deploy like the AI? That's actually true. I never even thought about that. That would be very, 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 very useful. I mean, the thing is, it depends also how far this thing can warp on the first turn. When I fight necrosavants, I'll start with my 2-line setup, but I just shift the guys to make it effectively a 3-line setup. Because with 5 up front, and then you take a 5, what's like 4-5-4, I think, or something similar. 4-5-3 lets you have a 1 ranged fighter in the middle who can't be surrounded, and then there's 1 open spot where like a 2nd ranged fighter can be put into melee combat. But basically there's a way to play around with it, and when you have the peasant horde, you can have 18 units to play with. You should be able to have a few people in the middle who can't be hit in melee combat, but remember, this thing is going to displace your ranks when it charges at you, so I think having ranged fighters against this guy is going to be a big no-no. Anyway, never mind that. The main thing is the announce date, 9th of May. I cannot wait. On the day of the release, I am going to do probably 2-hour-long episodes up to YouTube. I doubt very much I'll have fiber installed and be able to stream by then, but I'm working on that as much as I can. It's just very difficult being out of my hands. It's almost entirely up to my landlady sorting out now the access rights for the company to come put in fiber. It's annoying. Never mind that shit. The main thing is we're going to start 2 new Battle Brothers campaigns on the release date. We will do a Peasant Horde and a Cultist playthrough. I cannot wait. Well, friends, thanks for watching, and I will see you on the 9th of May. Fuck, that's going to be good. I can't wait. Thanks for watching, friends. See you next time.